Yo, it's Guido coming at you with a tactics talk and spot the mistake number 2. Spot the mistake number 2. I'm in my T92. I'm here on, what is this, Monastery? No, it's Abbey. I always want to call it Monastery for some reason. Is there a map called Monastery? I don't know. I'm bottom tier in a 3-5. 7, and I've gone on to the 8 line to take a spot and see if I can't get some free damage for people who are looking to shoot these guys crossing here. And unlike the earlier spot the mistake, I do hold my fire, not wanting to get shredded by something that may see me right here. T-34 goes by, Pantera goes by, the Centurion is there. The 121 gets in there but gets shredded pretty quickly, and the Standard B is over there as well. Two of our better tanks, and they're getting hammered pretty hard. The 268 finally shows up, and I am sitting here for the moment thinking, holy cow, oh my god, here comes the Type 4. I did consider pushing in there. More than likely I would have died. I may have got a few hits, and now I'm just going to back out. So I'm going to reposition here. What I'm doing here is probably not helping a whole bunch. I think I actually took one shot there looking for a cheesy penetration, but it doesn't happen. The one guy who probably can penetrate gets by before I'm reloaded. At least as far as the side of him. And the 121 actually ends up doing a nice job of surviving there, but I'm going to go ahead and change this fight. There's a good chunk of their team on the 8-9 line, so now I'm starting to think about, well, why don't I reposition? I'm going to take a few shots here, try to work on this object. They still aren't really pushing in on the 121, and he's managing to live, and we're keeping them honest for the moment. But down goes the 121. Trying to get maybe a shot. That guy's behind that. And now I'm like, all right, I've got to change this fight. This is no longer working. We did get a little bit of a lead, but we are going to lose a couple tanks in here. So let's go somewhere else. So spot the mistake. And this leads to an interesting discussion about counting noses. If we look at that, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 tanks. 4 tanks, 5 now with the mutts, 6, 7 with the 2 artillery, 9, 10, 11 with the 3 dead, and that leaves 4 tanks. So let's think about for a moment what kind of tanks those might be and where they might be. If we look over on the 1-2 line, we really haven't found much. The 110E5 has moved in pretty hard. So what kind of tanks are left, and where are they most likely to be? I'm going to take it around this way so I'm not spotted necessarily. I am thinking about campers right here, but I'm hoping, based on what I'm counting, that there's only maybe one up there. But the fact of the matter is there are multiples, and they are these things, which are very accurate, shoot relatively fast, and hit very hard. So one of them gets a piece of me. Take a little shot on the run. There's a Mouse up there of all things. I take another hit from one of these guys trying to get away, and I've got a scent over there, or behind me right there, who has come up and over onto this spot. So the idea was right. There was no sense sitting here and fighting down a corridor. Looking for targets was a good idea, but simply YOLOing up the middle with what was left in the essay that I had was a very, very bad idea. If you look at the rolls, there was a Sturb. There's a Sturb, a Sturb, there's a Ferdinand. The Mouse happened to be sitting on the cap AFK, which was helping us at least for the moment. These guys did push on the 1-2 line, but that meant that anything that was there was probably sitting up here. We did own the middle, but there was just too many guns in the game, enemy guns in the game, for me to go YOLOing up the middle. Maybe take a look and a peek, and then flex around. And probably my best bet would have been, once I noticed that we pushed this far here, was either come up into the center monastery and get some vision here with the T-44, maybe over in this area here in the smaller buildings, or come all the way around and then look to get up on this overwatch point and start spotting down here for guys as well, or help these two clean up whatever might be there. But the hey diddle diddle right up the middle was clearly the wrong idea right there. So spot the mistake. Discuss among yourselves down there. One of the things about running a scout is knowing when to do this kind of thing. And very clearly this was a great example of when it's too soon to do this kind of thing. Sometimes on maps, about this point in the battle, this kind of move can be good, but in a relatively funnelized map like this, especially one where the cap is so easily defended by multiple TDs and multiple overwatch spots, this area right here is just no place to be with this many guns in the game. So I'm not saying you can't ever do something like this, but you've got to consider the situation, the map, and the part of the match that you're in, and I just failed to do so and ended up with 155 damage and 358 spotting, so not great. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it, and we will see ya.